He's had a profound impact on the new king as well, beginning in his teens when he left the familiar surroundings of London and Windsor to attend school in the rather different landscape of North East Scotland.
Well, Gornston is in the north of Scotland, near the town of Elgin, pretty remote from London and everything Prince Charles had known before he went there. He was a very shy boy, very polite, and not particularly confident. And he himself has said that he wasn't happy at school. I think that was mainly in his first years, really. But by the end, he was a very successful boy. He'd acted the lead in school plays, and he was captain of the school. And he got that post on merit, not because of who he was. I think his love for Scotland really stemmed from the holidays that he'd had there at Balmoral, and from his very close association with his grandmother. He loved her very much, and she loved him very much, and I think that she did not let him forget that he was a quarter Scottish.
I think, when His Royal Highness comes up to Scotland, I think he's probably one of the finest ambassadors for wearing the kilt and Highland dress, and he wears that with a great sense of pride and tradition, knows what it's all about. He gets involved in the communities, he loves the music, the culture, the tradition and the language of Scotland.
I think he's someone that really has a great deal of enthusiasm for life in Scotland, and it's well known that he spent some time on a Crofton Bernery, and I think he was allowed to be himself.
To say you forgot who he was, that's not true. You couldn't pick him out from crofters working with sheep, potato planting. He was out on a boat, and in between all of that he was in and out of homes, meeting people. And there's a little area down toward the bottom end of the island where he could go and perch on rocks and just draw what he saw ahead of him. You felt he'd found a kind of peace here. It was just wonderful to see.
And I think being part of a community, being part of the land, that kind of tranquility, communities at peace with themselves, are something that he can certainly very much equate to, and I think perhaps being in Scotland gives him the opportunity to express himself.
In the early 90s, I think it was approached to take part in some filming that I would act along with other child actors to do this specific story, The Old Man of Loch Nagar, which the Dukes of Rothesay had actually written. And it was decided to also make Scottish Gallic versions and Welsh versions of them as well. I was a clown. It's actually one of the things that the Duke of Rothesay commented on was when he met the rest of the cast, was what a frightful wig. I was just happy he recognised it was a wig.
Hafiz Akimse er show an erin ounce hula skelach.
I just remember, being quite impressed with the pronunciation and his ability and just how natural he sounded in the language itself.
If I were to try to sum him up, I would say that he's a traditionalist in that he loves the past and he appreciates Scotland's great history and great past, but he's unlike most traditionalists in that he's equally concerned about the future. One thing he will bring to the throne, which I believe none of his predecessors can possibly have brought in the past, is a knowledge of the entire country, and he will have met and talked to more of his subjects than any previous monarch will ever have been able to do.
And the prince as he was, now King Charles III, very familiar, of course, with the place of worship